Hello YouTubers. Well, I have something new to review. You can just see it over here. It's a video microscope by Elikliv. It is the EM4K-AF. AF stands for autofocus. I guess a lot of microscopes don't have autofocus, and this has a very nice autofocus. It is a true 4K video microscope that can capture photos and videos. It can output to several devices. It's got a nice built-in monitor, which you can just see here. You can't see the base, but I'll be showing it to you close up here. It is battery powered or can be charged or powered externally via USB. It has all kinds of nice features to it. I'm going to be using it as a soldering station. My old solder station has a big magnifying lens that I have to look through and kind of squint and close one eye, and it really wasn't working out. And they contacted me a couple of years ago about this. I had just fallen ill at the time, so I had to put it off. But now I'm getting a little better and I can start working on some projects again. So they sent me the unit to review. I'm not being paid for the review. They just sent me the unit. Get that disclaimer out there. It's really nice. So it is a true 4K. Some other USB microscopes interpolate the resolution up, but this uses a sensor with a native resolution of 3840 by 2160 4K resolution natively at the sensor, so you get really nice high quality images out of this thing. Let's open the box and set the unit up. It has a very nice single language manual. Looks pretty complete. Inside it's very well packed and protected. Let's unbox it and put it together. Some assembly required. On the stand, there is a threaded insert for the back of the stand to thread into. If you look down at the bottom of the stand there, you'll see that there's a threaded end with a nut that keeps it in place. So let's thread that down into the stand until it stops. Then you're going to want to back it out until that ring is centered over the platform. And while it's centered there and holding it centered, you're going to tighten down this threaded ring down here to lock it in place. On the front here, there's two thumb screws on this ring. These are going to hold the actual unit in place, so you want to loosen those up. And if we look at the unit, you'll see a band here, right at the base of it. That's where the thumb screws are going to engage. So we'll insert that down into the ring, and we will snug up those thumb screws. Now you don't want to get them too tight. You don't want to damage the unit. Just snug them up so it doesn't move around. And then you probably will want to center it again. So let's rotate it slightly until it's absolutely perpendicular and centered, and then snug those back down. Now on the back, we have our height adjustments, and there's this screw here that tightens a little nylon shoe in there. So snug that up so that the unit stays put. On the back, we have connectors. We have an HDMI output connector. This can be used to hook it up to an external monitor or a projector if you're using it in a lecture room or as part of a presentation. There's the micro SD card slot with a built-in 64 gig card by default that's formatted in Microsoft exFAT format. Next to that, we have the USB-C connector. This is for powering the unit, charging the unit, or connecting the unit to your computer. You can connect it to the computer and use it to transfer files from the SD card, or you can use the unit as an external camera, USB camera, to capture video and images directly onto the computer. Next to that, we have the 5-volt output jack. This is what's going to power the gooseneck LEDs down at the bottom. So use the short USB cable that came with the unit. We'll plug it in up here on the head, and then we will go down to the base. And on the base, we have a USB-C connector at the one end. This is where we're going to connect that cable for powering the gooseneck lights. Plug it in. And then over on the other side, there is an adjustment, and this will turn the lights on and vary their brightness. There's also a ring light at the bottom of the unit around the camera, and that can be adjusted in brightness by this touch slider on the front of the display. On the front panel, we have some controls here. Power switch, obvious. Left and right selection and OK, and a menu button. If we click the menu button, we bring up the on-screen menu up here, and we can exit the menu. We can play back files that are captured on the device. If I hit that, it goes in to show us the first image, and then we can move through the images or videos that we've captured. We have image adjustments we can do here. We can adjust the brightness. We can do the white balance. Right now it's set to auto. We can set it to a manual temperature or calibrate it with a white sheet of paper. There's settings for exposure time and gain that vary depending upon what you're doing. Red, green, and blue individual adjustments. Autofocus settings. Right now it's at manual. We can set it to auto. Let me go ahead and put this in auto mode. We'll exit the menu, and now I'll just adjust the zoom, and you'll see the autofocus readjust fairly quickly. It takes a couple of seconds. Sometimes it wants to focus on the panel or the background. It doesn't want to focus on the object. There we go. Nope, it's still focusing on the background. It doesn't do sort of a central spot. It does the entire thing, and it sort of tries to guess. So the tracking autofocus is semi-useful. Down on the stem, there are the settings for autofocus and manual, and you can override it at any time. I can tap autofocus, and now it's going to focus on that central area, or it should. Nope, it focused on the background again, even though it showed a little green area. So I'll use the plus and minus on the stem to manually focus. There we go. Autofocus is hit and miss. When it works great. Let's go back in here to the settings. You can set it color, black and white, or negative image. Wide dynamic range is HDR, which is right now off. So if you have a lot of a range of dark areas and light areas, you can turn that on and compress the dynamic range. And of course, contrast and saturation. Under the settings menu here, we can control the various settings for different things. Shortcut is what happens when you tap the OK key. So right now it's taking a photo. You can set it to do video or split screen and freeze the display. Photo settings, this is the native resolution, the 4K resolution at 13 megapixels. If you go to 52 megapixels, it interpolates it up to a very high resolution, which can help you to resolve some finer details. Video settings, 4K native, or I've got it set to 1080p right now because I'm doing my video in HD, but you can capture video in full 4K, as we discussed at the beginning of the segment. Then you've got brightness settings, auto off setting, only up to 5 minutes. I would like it if that was longer, but yeah. Language settings, you can set the date and time to timestamp your captured files. Defaults all the settings back to factory defaults. Formats the SD card, which is formatted in Microsoft exFAT format. And then we have our software version. The zoom factor is up to 2000, so we'll take this penny here and we'll zoom in on it. As you can see, we can get right down in there and right down in on those letters and really see the details of the stamp. So quite a good amount of zoom. What else might you use this for? Well, perhaps examining or repairing jewelry. This little earring here, we'll take a look at it and we'll zoom in on it. You can see the autofocus is working pretty well here. It takes about 4 seconds to lock in, and then I'm going to lower the zoom and or the unit, and you'll see it refocus. And there, it's locked in. So we can then move the ring around and take a good look at it. As a metal detectorist, often you need to find out if something is silver or not, or has marks. You know, this little piece of jewelry is nice looking. Looks tarnished, like it might be silver on the back. And sometimes it's just hard to tell, but you got to look for that mark. And there it is, 925, 92.5% silver. Now, those of you that have followed my channel for a while, you know me. I create a lot of 3D stuff and 3D printing stuff, and well, I created a few accessories for this guy to enhance it a little bit. Let me show you a few of those here. I've got a nice little lens cap that I made that you can put on to protect the lens when you're not using it. And I made a caddy for the remote that sits here on the back, so you can have the remote stored and handy. And also, a third hand adapter. For doing soldering on this thing, I took the third hand assembly off of my old solder station, and I made this little clamp here. So I can clamp this onto the Elikliv. I'm going to clamp it right down here on the lower base, and that screws on and clamps in place, and then I'll have a third hand here for doing my soldering work. So if you have one of these sitting around your shop, which you probably do, I bet you some people have multiple third hand accessories just laying in drawers and things. You can take one of those apart and print out this little clamp to clamp it onto the Elikliv and give yourself a third hand to help you with your soldering. So those parts will be up on Thingiverse and printables and linked down in the description below, as I usually do. I'm going to do a little soldering. I've got my little desk fan here. Took a PC fan, turned it into a desk fan. Blow the fumes away. And I'm going to capture video with the device so you'll be able to see close up my soldering, and it'll give some of you the option to complain about it. There we go, we're recording video. All right. It's a little interesting doing it this way. I look down at the device that I'm going to solder, and then I have to look up at the screen. But it's not that difficult, really. In fact, I'm finding it to be quite useful. There we go. I'm working on a filter project for the next video for filtering USB charging, which is what this is going to be for. And yeah, this is actually working out pretty good. I'm finding it to be quite useful as a solder station. So there we go. One tiny little filter board ready to be connected up, or I'll test it first. Oh, this solder joint over here is no good. Look at that. This is what's nice about this. With my old eyes, I can see that this joint over here, I didn't catch the PC board. So I'm going to clip this back in and take care of that right now. I might have missed this cold solder joint, or this right here. You can see I didn't catch the via on the PC board. I might have missed that otherwise. There we go. But with the help of the magnifier, that's much better. I can now see that we're good. So yeah, very useful. I'm going to use the heck out of this device. Presently, the unit sells for just under $200 on Amazon. The representative is giving me a discount code for 10% off that you can get down in the description below there. I don't know how long that's going to be good for. I'll put that information along with the link there in the description. And if it's been a while and it's deactivated now, I'll also put that in the description. But if you're quick on this video, you've got a good chance to get 10% off on this great little video microscope. So that's the Elikliv EM4K-AF video microscope. Great little device. I'll probably find all kinds of uses for it going forward, and you'll probably see it several times in the future here on the channel, as I'm sure I'll be putting it to quite a bit of use. I hope you found that useful, and hey, if you have a use for something like this is a great little product. I can recommend it. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Also, if you're not already a subscriber, click to subscribe. Join us on the Facebook channel for discussion about the videos. And if you'd like to help support this channel, please click to support me on my Patreon page.